open at 6 o'clock. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You like that? You like that, guy? All right, have a seat. All right, first thing on our agenda is we have approval of minutes. All right, public and non-public from September 24th.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of September 24th, public and non-public.
Okay. Do we have a second? All right, we have a second. Was that Dawn?
Yes.
All right, all right. Any comments, questions, corrections on any of those?
I didn't see.
It was a pretty brief meeting.
Pretty brief meeting. I
Very
saw.
concise.
Get so much done?
I
Yeah.
know. I watched. On
Oh yeah,
speed.
you were watching.
I didn't watch it. I watched it later, just so I could keep up. So, all right. Anything? No. All right. All those in favor of approving minutes from 9:24, public and non-public, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions?
I abstain.
Bruce abstains. All right. Public comments. Good evening. Any public comment? Just state your name and town you're from for the minutes.
Sure, my name is Thomas Oakland, and I'm from Canaan, and I wanted to come tonight to, in some cases, reintroduce myself, in other cases, introduce myself. I am a candidate for the New Hampshire House from Grafton District 9, which includes Canaan, Dorchester, and Orange. And I am a huge supporter of public education and intend to, should the good people of my district choose to support me, intend to be an advocate in the House in Congress. So, happy to answer any questions, but I just wanted to come and say hi.
All right. Cool. Welcome. Thanks for introducing. Yes, Mr. Kaiser.
I got the census here. It's
First
very
thing, or
cons-
the October 1st numbers?
Yeah, it's very concerning that there's 30 fewer than there were August the 20th. And what's even more concerning is there was 10 less freshmen. Do we know what happened?
Well, we have it on our agenda for later, so
Yeah,
we'll figure that out. Oh, go ahead, sorry. Anything else?
that's it.
Anything to check? All right. Next thing on our agenda is we have our student representative report. So I guess this is more of a student representative introduction. So I will pass the floor over to you, Lily, if you just want to introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself, and we'll let the board members talk after. Go ahead.
I'm Lily Gunnarsson. I'm a senior here, and I do like a lot of stuff with like the arts and like music and everything. I've been doing student council for a while.
Cool.
Should I read my dog?
Yeah, if you have a report, go for it.
Alright. So, we had homecoming 2 weekends ago, and it was very successful. Our sports teams did great. Pretty much everybody won. The bonfire and parade was very energetic, and the dance was really fun for many people. Interact Club also collected food from Mascoma Tackles Hunger during homecoming, and the student athletes collected food at the elementary schools for that food drive as well during homecoming. And during our dance, for the senior dance, we collected canned goods for like $2 off of the ticket or whatever. In student council, we've talked about teacher appreciation, and we've had different students read the announcements every day, as well as talking about who would be the executive board for student council. Project RAD, as well as music boosters, or the music department fundraisers, are on their way. They're going. For the music department, there is the Meadow Farms fundraiser, which ends on the 11th. And the Poinsettia fundraiser for Project RAD just began like a few weeks ago, or like last week. We have a class senior seminar, and we've been covering important things like cover letters, resumes. We had little interviews, and we're currently working on our college essays. At Hartford, there's students working on presentations for their skills and career development that they will present in May. Our guidance counselors have been holding senior lunches every Wednesday and Thursday, where we can work on our college applications and get help with things if we need to, along with like schedule senior plans with the counselors if we need to. Starting this October, there'll be community and business will be invited to Mascoma to share different career opportunities with us during our Flex Your Future. And then throughout October and November, there's different college in New Hampshire and Vermont's open houses. The 14th is Randolph, the 19th is Franklin Pierce, the 21st is Castleton, as well as November 11th. SNHU is the 25th, and then November 6th is NHTI. November 8th is Williston, and November 16th is St. Michael's. On Thursday, NHS will hold their inductions in the auditorium at 6. And yesterday, on Monday, NHS traveled to the elementary schools and read books to the 4-year-olds and gave them books. As for sports updates, football is 3-1, field hockey is 3-7, JV boys soccer is 1-0, varsity is 7-0-3 because they've had 3 ties. Girls soccer is 2-5-2 with 2 ties. Volleyball JV is 1-2, varsity is 2-10. Cross country is doing well, and bass fishing just won the state championship to put it on the 2nd consecutive win on Saturday. Writers Guild has been holding meetings, and there's going to be like a literary magazine sometime this year.
Cool.
We have been talking about submitting pieces to a scholastic competition. Jazz band is going very strong this year. We have meetings Monday, Friday, and Wednesdays from 7 to 7:45. Interact Club is working with an a cappella performance group that's happening on Sunday, and they're planning different activities for the rest of the year, like rail trail cleanups and Rising Against Hunger meal packing. And the fall play rehearsals are going, and the performance of our Methanol Base will be November 8th, 9th, and 10th. And the 3-minute passing periods have been different, but everyone's starting to get back into a school group with them.
Cool. Well,
Wow.
that was a lot of information. Thank you so much. That was great. That's ideal. I don't think anyone would argue that that is not what we're looking for. That's great. Any questions or anything?
Do I have a
catch
question?
your- Yeah, go for
you?
it.
So when the Honor Society goes to the elementary school and sees the younger students, do they ever wonder why you're there? Do they realize that you're from the high school and have a conversation about how in the future they could be doing the same thing?
They might. I'm not really sure. I haven't done that yet because I'm getting inducted on Thursday. But
Oh, okay. Then you'll find
they
out.
might.
Okay, well, I'm just thinking, if it's a mentor program like that, it's fun to engage with a younger student like that and explain to them how you ended up going this full circle and everything. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and this is Kathleen Stacy. Just introduce yourself as you say talk to her. So, all right. Anyone else? Brewster, go ahead.
That, I'd like a written report on that, and that is the best report. Listen, honestly, that is the best report I've ever had since I've been sitting on this board for the longest years I've been on this board. And that's just amazing, just totally amazing. I've never had that much information from a student rep, and you're very, very well spoken, very well versed on this. I do like a written copy of that because I want to keep that because we always go through different student reps, and that is very impressive, and you ought to be commended for that. And I really am. Sometimes I don't get to these meetings in time, but we'll get here and I'll miss them. But that, and you should have a name tag though. So
Yep.
We better make sure you have a name tag. But I would like a written report of that. I think you should be commended because that's the most thorough report I've ever had on this board.
So we will have. What you'll do is does she give that to Tina, Amanda? Usually.
Yes.
If you can send that to Tina, to Ms. Fleming, what day?
Usually the Thursday before the board meeting.
Yeah, and then we'll all get that included in our packet. But for this one, if you can just send it to her to send on to us, that would be great.
I have shared it with her.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I did edit it last night to add a little
That's fine, and you don't have to come here and like read verbatim what you wrote before, because we'll all have read what you wrote, but you can kind of use it as a guide to be like, oh yeah, this happened and that happened, and you know, that sort of thing. And then you can add other things that you might have thought of, or whatever. Any other questions? Oh, Danielle, go ahead.
I would just say, apologies for missing your report, so I will read the written one. One of the things that has always been helpful, and I wish that we'd have a little bit more of, is if there are things that are on the agenda that there's a strong student sentiment about, or feedback that you can give, we'd always love to hear that, even if it's not part of your written report that you submit in advance. But if you look at the agenda and you see that there's some sort of policy or other sort of know about things that are on here, it'd be great to have your feedback on that.
Yeah, totally.
I still say you gotta get credit for something for doing this.
Yeah, figure something out.
You should.
It's good on the resume, that's for sure. So.
Yeah.
All right, so next thing we have on our agenda is Communications Committee report, and that's from October 1st.
Okay, so you've got the written report in your packet. We talked a bit about website, we talked about the sign. Both of those things are items that will be included in the budgeting process for FY26. The sign at the bottom of the hill is near the end of lifespan, and so we need to have that factored in, even if it ends up getting taken out by the budget committee. It's something that we need to make sure that we kind of put a figure in there at least, so it's under consideration. And then also for a new website, it's been several years since we updated the website, and so looking at different content management systems that would allow for a more efficient content workflow. So having different people be able to enter things so that we have timely updates from all of the school buildings and activities and things like that. Seth gave us some updates about the AV Club. We have both IRS and high school students, including a group of really involved fifth graders. So the future is bright for these guys. And so we'll look forward to their involvement in the plays that are coming up this fall. And their students working on doing announcements at the high school in the morning. So all sorts of interesting things. We did look at some policies, and we have not finished working on them or reviewing them in order to bring them here, but look for those probably in December. And then our next communications meeting is December 3rd.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Yes, sir.
What's the issue with the sign?
The sign is at its what they call the end of life. So essentially, the way that the sign gets the text, gets the characters, the words that are put down there, it's starting to have some issues with the technology. Like it's not talking to up here at the office in the way that it needs to receive it down there. And so there's going to be a point where it just completely does not work anymore, and it'll just be, the sign will still be there, but the
Computer part.
the computer part,
That's
words.
well, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
What's the thing? Is it, yeah, what's the issue with the sign? I mean, which issue is it? Computer problem, or is it, what is it? I mean, just.
Yeah, we've been able to piece things together, but because it was, if you remember, that sign was there before the renovation was complete.
Right.
So it was like, that was one of the first things that was done.
Mm-hmm.
And so the technology that was used and kind of the mechanics of it are now, they're
10 years
over,
old.
over a decade old.
Yeah.
I think
So
Greg said it was 14 versions behind.
yeah, 14
So the
versions
updated.
behind.
So
So
you're looking at putting in new software or something into that thing?
it'd be a new signboard too. Yeah, because we
Right.
basically are like can't get parts. So if that breaks, the parts from 14
Series
updates
of
aren't available anymore. So we've been able to piece things together with some of our vendors, but Craig has been telling us for the past couple of years that we're really like on the tail end of that. So he's,
the cost is going to be something, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be something. I don't know exactly what it is. He's working with vendors to get that information in time to be able to incorporate it into the budget. So it's one of those things that we obviously are not looking to just update or upgrade the sign for no reason. It's really when it is something that's
It's not similar to like the same company we deal with the scoreboards and stuff like that.
I don't think so.
Okay, I just, asking the
Good
question.
thinking, though.
I'm asking the question to that because, I mean, it's, we got scoreboards down there and we're getting
Yeah.
new scoreboards.
Yeah.
So, why not look into that too? I mean, that's just my thought because,
Yeah.
you're gonna replace that sign with
I'm sure
something
he'll
else.
take a look at that, but I think that there were some specific sign vendors that work on that sort of thing. And it probably would be a slightly bigger just because that's the,
Okay,
that
all right.
it's kind of, yeah.
All right.
But
Well-
Craig is in the process of researching that right now so
Okay.
that it can
I just
it
figured
move
you'd
forward.
approach that subject because
Yeah.
you're looking at new scoreboards for the athletic stuff,
Yeah,
so.
yep.
All right, anything else for Danielle for
Thank you.
communications? All right. Next thing on our agenda, superintendent's report. Amanda, how's it going?
You do have my written report in your packet. A couple of high points here. Our open houses were very well attended. We're always very appreciative of our parents that give their evenings to come meet the teachers, see the work of our students. Homecoming was very well done this year. The one change that we will be making, and I'll put this out to the public and record right now, is the fact that middle schoolers will not be allowed to stay if they're unsupervised. We do not have teachers, we do not have a lot of staff here to supervise kids, and some of the behavior was distracted from the honor and privilege that goes along for our seniors. So we will be doing that differently. Parents should be prepared for that. Also, I have listed the upcoming budget committee meetings, in case anyone is interested in attending those. The one exception is we did have to postpone the meeting from yesterday. So we did postpone the budget meeting from yesterday. That will be rescheduled on October 21st.
Okay.
One piece that you do not have in the written report, because it hadn't happened yet, but today I was a guest panelist for the Department of Energy. I had talked a little bit about it, I think, at the communications. So I did talk briefly about the retrofit of LED lighting in Canaan and the potential for savings and the drop in kilowatt hours and whatnot, and tie that into the Renew America Schools grant and the energy class prize that we had received, along with our partnership with MG Electric and how they were able to find that rebate for us, so that we actually were able to recoup a little bit of the $42,000 that it did cost for us to do that project. So that was great, and apparently there were 1,050 people that watched me, so I'm feeling like pretty important these days.
Run for the governor then.
Very
Pretty
cool, yeah,
important these
look out.
days.
All right, anything
So,
else?
good thing I didn't know that while I was on.
Yeah. All right, anything else?
That's all.
All right, any questions for Amanda?
I got one.
All right, Bruce, go ahead.
See him sitting here being a pain in the neck tonight again, as usual. Did you follow what went on with the special, down in the state thing about the special ed, possibly getting more money for the school districts?
The increase in special ed aid?
Yeah, special ed aid, it came out, it was on the news a couple nights ago, and I saw it on Channel 9, because they had a big issue going on down in Concord that the districts could get extra money because we're having a big issue with our special ed budget. There's a big thing going on down in Concord where they had a big meeting where they had other districts, some other ones showed up, and they were possibly given, if you needed more money, that there's an opportunity to get more money for special ed.
They have not notified us of that yet. We have been notified of the allocation of special ed aid and the formula they're using as compared to the cost to educate regular special ed
I just
students.
happened to see it on Channel 9.
I've not been notified of anything like that, nor has Christy so informed me that it's
Okay.
Yeah, I'll poke back to, I'll see the news, what they're talking about. So we can figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing we have Business Administrator's Report, Financials. Michelle, go ahead.
Okay, so my report was in the packet, just some highlights from it. So we have met with all of the principals so far, at least once, to do FY26 budget prep. Second meetings are scheduled. Both elementary schools, of course, done. We'll switch those off to the 21st. I did use a 10% estimate for the health insurance based on school care's recommendation. Of course, we're hoping that comes in lower. The retirement contributions for the employer did go down though for 25, 26. So I put those rates in there. So we will see a little savings in the retirement section. And I did file late liquidation for the ESSER grant for the EVS HVAC ventilation project. Yesterday I submitted that. So we're hoping that gets approved. I did put in an additional letter that I submitted afterwards, requesting approval from the board to transfer the $316,500 for the CES and EVS roofing projects out of the facilities capital reserve.
Okay. So entertain a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to do that, $316,500,000, the capital reserve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Kathleen, a second. Any discussion on that for the board? These are projects that we've all long discussed, the projects that we know coming out of CIP, and this is the amount that matches, so. All right, all those in favor of approving transfer of $316,500 for CES and EVS roofing projects from the MVRSD Facilities Capital Reserve Fund, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, abstentions. All right. Anything else, Michelle? All right, cool. Any other questions for Michelle? All right, and as we do the first 2 months of school, bus route update, do we have any updates on bus routes, Amanda?
We actually do.
Hooray.
So in your packet, you have a whole bunch of
Oh, yes.
updated sheets, what exactly those are. It's gonna
That's
take a
EVS
minute.
2, High School 4,
Yeah.
and Canaan CES 6.
So there are some changes here. You'll see the explanation for the van one. I don't have mine highlighted, but I will look to see exactly what the differences are. These are more than just stops. So these are alterations in the route. So let's see. EVS 1. So instead of stopping at the junction of Potato and Lock Haven, they're now stopping on Potato Road. There's one change.
I don't have the,
I think
you
it's
said
EVS one.
EVS
Yeah,
2.
You don't have EVS 1? Okay,
No,
so
two.
let's keep going then.
Well, we
I'll
don't
keep
have
looking.
EVS 1.
Was there a
I'm
change
trying to
on
say,
one?
I'm sorry, but you got EVS 2.
Oh, here we go. So what we're doing on M4 and EVS 2 is that M4 is too crowded. So instead of putting all the students on that bus, we're taking some students off of that bus, putting them on EVS 2, which is the transfer bus that goes typically from the high school and the middle school and just drops kids at EVS. Instead, that bus is going to be doing a couple of stops. So you'll see they're going down Lovejoy Brook Road, and then they're taking some stops on 442, 390, Route 4.
Good.
As well as a couple other stops before they get to EVS. And that altered the M4 a bit too.
Cool.
What about CES 6?
So CES 6 has an email explanation there. It's going to start at CES instead of starting at IRS in the high school in the afternoons, and it is also adding the stop 2161.
All right.
So that's a change in the route, starting in a different place.
That's way down.
Happy go lucky.
All right. Any other bus route changes?
Nope.
Okay. Entertain a motion to accept those bus route changes as presented.
Motion to accept the
route changes for EBS 2 and 4 and CES 6 is presented.
Second.
All right, any discussion by the board? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. All right, wonderful. Just before I forget, in continuing business, we did not have finance facilities this month. We had to reschedule. We were thinking next Wednesday, the 16th at 1 p.m. Kathleen can make it, I can make it. Hope, can you make it? Brewster, you're gonna check on that, right? You don't think you
1
can?
o'clock, I can't do 1 o'clock
Okay,
right now. I can't, not this month.
all right. Well, this month we can get through with that, so.
So get through to that, it'd be good.
All right, cool. So we'll do next,
We'll deal with what we gotta deal with in November,
sounds good.
all right?
So next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Martha will post that. All right. Next thing on our agenda is school board stipends. One thing that Amanda asked us is to look into what other school districts do for stipends. And as you can see, here's our stipend list in your packet compared to the other districts in the around that we were able to get information from. So, did you have anything else you wanted to say on top of that?
No, this
Okay.
was just, a couple of board members had approached me about the stipends, and this is work that was compiled by the superintendent, I believe, and John Stark. So she did share this with me.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll just open that up for the board. How do you feel? So just so you know, it's $700 for members, $1,000 for the chair. Compared to other districts, it is neither higher nor lower than many others. It's right in the middle of many of them. So it's almost the same as Henniker. It's very close as a lot of other ones. Does anybody have any feelings?
Which one, I don't know which ones are regional,
Good question.
as opposed to individual towns. Like Ware, I don't think is regional.
How come you don't, I'm sorry.
Hold on, Krista, hold on.
Yeah.
I think Hillsborough Deering, is that
Regional?
regional? But like Washington is just the town of Washington, Windsor's the town of Windsor, Sunapee is just Bow and Dunbarton, I think that's 5 different boards, or that's different boards. John Stark, that's a regional one, right?
Correct.
So,
Okay, thanks.
yeah. Okay, Brewster, what question, what did you want to say?
Well, how come we just did regional, right? What about, I don't see Hanover, Lebanon, or Kearsarge on here.
They did not respond to the request for information.
Well, I'm just stating what I'm looking at.
Well, I mean,
I like the response of the Lemster.
yes.
What did they receive? Nothing. What did the chair receive? My appreciation.
My appreciation, yes. So, I mean, this is food for thought. Like, we don't have to do anything with this right now. It's something we can think about. We can bring it up at the next board meeting because we have until one of the later budget meetings to change it for the SAU budget, I would imagine, or the district-wide budget, I mean. So,
I do know it gets brought up at the budget committee meetings all the time.
What's that?
You guys want to raise, and I'm like, no, we're good, I think, so.
Well, one of the issues that was discussed when our moderator was going to resign is that compensation doesn't match with the board members. It's a different amount of money. I believe it's around $250. And
for the moderator? Oh.
for the school moderator
Yep.
one. And she made a very good point that it's not easy to fill a position to begin with, but when the compensation is so small, it makes it even more difficult for people to justify making the commitment. So when we're considering this, it's not just board member.
Yeah,
I think we need to keep that in mind.
yeah.
Well, you know something, I've been on here the longest member on this board, but I've said all along that at some point, the 5 towns, the select board people get a lot more money than, and I didn't get on this board for the money, number
Right.
one, all right, just so you know. Number two, the select board people at each of these 5 towns, they make a heck of a lot more money than we do, but do they handle as much as we handle for the budgets and for the school district? I mean, Grafton, they're paying their select board person $2,000 a year for 3 years.
Then Canaan pays like 3,500.
3,500,
Something like
yeah.
that.
Orange is 3.
3, yeah.
I mean, I'm not, if you're looking at to try to raise the money for this board, for the school board people, you're not asking for the same amount, but you're asking for a little bit more than what we've been getting for the last 17 years. And, that's what I've been on, 17, there were 2 more.
Yeah.
But I didn't get on it for that reason. And I just think that, I know Enfield's is high, and I have no idea what Orange and Dorchester are. But I still think that it should be upped a little bit, enough, so you can get people to come to this and participate and go for the election. Because as it is now, nobody wants to take this position. And I don't know how long I'm going to stay on, because I have 2 more years, so.
Well, if we're being honest, I didn't know there was a stipend, I just did it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
I didn't know there was
Yeah, what's
I
that?
didn't
What do you
know
know?
either at first.
That's exactly,
Let me tell you, I had no idea.
that's exactly how I felt about this.
Right, it's awkward, it's weird.
So I just think, I think the budget committee, I know they don't get paid, but the budget committee ought to look into that, because they ought to just at least raise this a little bit.
Sure.
All right, so that's my 10 cents about this.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
It gets thrown on the wayside, because if you look at the percentage, what it's gonna cost the taxpayers to raise us, whatever the amount it is, it's gonna be minuscule,
Right.
okay? Dan, you understand that? You're on the budget committee, right?
It's not me.
No, don't look at him.
I gotta get you
Get
back
paid
on
now.
again. I gotta get you back on. What's that?
He said it doesn't pay enough.
There's 0 stipend for budget committee.
So, I just did a quick math. If we went up to, so right now it's 700 for regular board member, 1,000 for chair. If we went to 1,200 for board member and 18 for chair, that would basically be $100 a month, 150 a month for the chair. That's kind of a nice round number, I'm thinking in my head, but I'm not committed to it. I'm just throwing out numbers.
Is that including your campaign posters you gotta get?
No.
Okay.
That does not.
I'm just kidding.
I think one of the things that, because folks don't realize how much time and effort it takes to be an elected member of a municipal board such as this, and I was like John, I did not have any idea about about payment, and I think I didn't get paid for the first couple of years, because they're like, oh, well, where's your, whatever those forms are you have to fill out, and I'm like, I have no idea, why do you need that information from me?
Yes.
It's like, oh, well, you'll get a stipend. I was like, okay, great, keep some money for my family, or gas money to go around, because at that time, we were going around and having meetings in the different towns, so I was like, okay, this is gas money, and this is, to allow me to have, to prioritize board meetings over work.
Yeah.
In some cases, if need be, to kind of
on
come
my
to.
home 'cause you
Yeah, right,
can
right, right. So I do wonder if any of the other towns, especially those with higher stipend amounts, have any sort of attendance policy that is connected to it, because I could certainly see that there would be some feedback given to folks if they were collecting a paycheck and not attending, and I don't think that would be a very good look for anyone.
No,
We
not at all.
we got all these meetings, we go to subcommittee meetings on top of that.
I know.
Add that,
Right,
add
right,
that. I think if you went 1,200, 1,600 for the chair, I would make the motion to put that on the floor to see if the budget committee would go for that.
Okay.
And see if they would, go for that. As far as we, each one of us, when when we go to, in March, we go to all these subcommittee meetings, we sign in for these things. They don't realize all the time we have to put in for the subcommittee meetings and on top of the board meetings and top
Oh, yeah.
of whatever else we do, but, I would make a motion if we could do it for $1,200 for the members and $1,600 for the chair,
Okay.
and see if the budget committee would approve that.
Is that your motion then?
That's my motion.
Okay. Does anyone want to second that?
I'll second it.
All right, and then let's discuss that then. Cool. Yeah, I mean, we can certainly put it out as that's our position, and then tell the budget committee that,
Yeah.
and they'll put that into the budget, right, Amanda? And then that'll be that. I do like Kathleen's point, and I do remember her saying that about our moderator saying that last year. If we're doing this, I think we should double that to 500 as well, at least, I would think.
What was
The
it at
moderator?
now?
Yeah, should we amend the motion
Yeah, I was
to
just
include
gonna ask.
that?
Yeah, well, I was also gonna ask then, what other positions do we have that we stipend out that need to be?
Well, I would try to keep this one separate because this has been long standing, it's been doormat for the longest time. And it never really gets broached the subject when it goes to the budget committee. It does get brought up.
How about this? How about we do just this now, and then
Yes.
next board meeting, we can find out the other positions?
Yes.
Like the moderator?
There's the moderator and there's the treasurer.
Yep.
And what do we pay the treasurer? And she does an incredible amount of work.
And the clerk,
She
right.
does balances,
Yeah.
all the things. You're also looking at Kamala for the minutes taker. You're also looking at Kamala as the clerk.
Yep, those are the stipends I think we wanna see.
I would think that a proportional increase
Yeah.
to what the school board is proposing to give themselves would be beneficial.
Yeah, that's what, we would like to get those informations so we can do that.
Do you want me to ask all the school districts to do this, or do you just want to say, we're increasing by whatever percentage, $700 to $1,200 is? And then just increase across the board for everyone?
I think we wanna know what all the different other positions make first.
In other
Well, what do you mean,
districts?
in our
No, in our
In our
district. In our district.
We did the same thing with the school nurse and everything
No,
else.
like-
when we had it.
So like for next board meeting, can we find out like what they make for like the treasurer and the clerk and the,
Or she's asking if we could do it across the board percentage increase,
No, you don't want to do that.
concurrent to what we're doing.
I just think that seems the most fair to me.
yeah,
I agree,
okay.
yeah.
I would be fine with that, and maybe if it could be presented as a table of what it is currently, and then the increase
And then the increase.
based on percentage.
Yeah.
That sounds,
So Michelle is telling me right now that the treasurer makes $2,600 and she balances the books every month.
Okay.
There's an incredible amount of work to that. Michelle could look them up, or we can put this on again. I don't want to wait too long, right? 2 weeks out, and we're starting to get really, really close.
Okay.
The moderator, I do believe, is only $250
250,
right
that
now.
sounds right, yeah.
And Kamala, do you know, here's hourly, or wait, Danielle,
it's-
Michelle's on it.
Is it 35?
Huh?
Is it 35? That's what I have now.
Those for meeting minutes, that's for this.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But then clerk is a set,
For the clerk too.
and so there's no hourly because
Yeah,
it's like
so-
picking up all the ballots and dropping
Yeah.
off all the ballots and posting all the things.
Yeah.
There's no hourly to go with it,
Right.
so it's a set thing.
what's that?
800.
800
Okay,
for the amount of work that Kamala does do for us on that.
that's right.
It's a little money.
Well,
Moderator, clerk, treasurer, okay. Here, let's close this motion that we have for board members, and then we'll bring up the other ones, how about that? All right, so all those in favor of suggesting to the budget committee $1,200 for members and $1,600 for chair, signify by saying aye.
all right.
Aye. All opposed? Abstentions? All right, so we have I have them written down, treasurer is currently at $2,600, clerk is at $800, and moderator is at $250. So you would want to go up,
So what's the percentage? That's the key you're talking about. What's the percentage you want to go up? That's what Amanda's saying, we ought to go proportionate to the percentage. What is the percentage? 5%, 10%? What are we
No.
talking?
Can't do it in
About
my head.
60.
it's,
I can't calculate it. You gotta put it in. Calculate it.
Thank you, Dan.
What?
Dan said it was 60%.
In my head
You
it
did
is.
the math.
It's, yeah, it's just under 60%.
Right.
That's pretty hefty.
Nice job.
That's what an MBA gets you.
And a lot
Yeah,
of money.
it's
Math
70%. But I think if we did,
You said 250 for the, is originally
moderators right now at
50,
250,
and you said 500, that's 50%.
that's doubling it. Yep.
Okay. If you go individually on each one of them, that would be the best way to do it.
Okay, so
Okay.
moderator currently makes 250. What do people think is fair for the moderator going
500.
forward? Brewster says 500. Any other thoughts?
I'm gonna tell you, I don't have enough of a clue of
Okay.
what their workload is to have any input
Wow.
on that.
They run the deliberative session
That's what the, yeah.
and stuff like
They
that.
do come in and meet with us ahead
Yep,
of time
that's it,
about
yeah.
any issues.
The moderator runs the deliberative session over here.
Okay. 500, that doubles it. That makes it 1 day's worth of work, or a couple days worth of work, $500. Clerk is 800 right now. If that went to something like 1,200, 1,000, I don't know. I'm just throwing a number.
1200,000, yes.
1,200,000? Yes.
What'd you say? Wait a minute.
I said 1,200 or 1,000.
And she said 12,000?
Yes.
Are we doing this, just for clarification,
Yeah.
are we doing this individually on these positions?
We can vote all at once for all positions together.
Well, what if, well, see, my question is, what if the budget committee decides that, yeah, we want to give $500 to this person?
Well, then let them do that. Then let them do that. Then they'll come back with the budget, how they want to do it.
Well, will they separate it?
Yeah, it'll all be separated by line, by type.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, I'm trying to say, Tim.
Yeah.
We go through each one of them, and, okay, I mean, I'm just saying, let's say that they don't want to give $500 to that person. We're not giving you $12,000, forget it, okay, so they ain't
But
happy.
you're essentially all
Never
suggestions
asked.
anyway.
They're all suggestions.
All right,
They're all
all right,
suggestions
all right,
to be
all right,
incorporated
exactly.
into the SAU portion of the
I
budget.
just say we just did individually, I just figured it'd be easier.
All right, so clerk, if we did,
What's it
what do
now?
people thought?
What's the?
800, currently 800.
1,200.
1,200, says Bruce.
1360 is the amount, if
Right.
Michelle's done the numbers for us, so 1360 is with the raise consistent with the school board increase.
Okay.
I went 50% for the last person.
I want to stay with a percentage, because I think that's the fairest way to
Did we
do
do
it.
that
We
with
did.
moderator?
No,
We
we just
just
doubled,
did that.
flat out doubled the moderators.
We just
It
doubled
was so
the
low.
100. Yeah, we went 50% with that one. That person.
Moderator was
100%.
100% though.
Yeah.
You went 100%.
Yeah, we went 100% on the moderator. We doubled it, because it's so low. I think you can
Yeah.
ignore a percentage on that, just double it.
Yeah.
All right, so 1360 for the clerk,
Yes.
and then if you do the treasurer for the same amount, what is that?
4420.
4420? Excellent.
Who else we got?
Minutes taker.
$60 an hour.
Is that what that brings it up to? Okay.
That puts you in a different tax bracket?
Cool.
We just have to have quicker meetings.
What was it,
That's right.
60?
$60 an hour.
Pick up some more meetings.
What are you getting now?
35.
35.
35? And you do a lousy job.
Hey.
I'm just kidding, I'm just
Hey.
kidding.
That's my right train
That's
to
uncalled
please
for,
research.
Bruce.
That's
It's
the
an
best
individual
part.
person, that's non-public.
Yeah, ruining her reputation.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah, okay, I know what a reputation is.
Just
All right.
remember, he's running for a position that pays $100.
60,
Yeah.
all right. Whatever,
So, what we have right now,
whatever. Can't joke around here.
if someone would like to make a motion,
This is already discussed. We're doing a list that's not on there.
yeah.
So we got 500, 1360.
So, hold on, Brewster, I got it. So,
Okay.
we're going to the moderator. We'd like to go from 250 to 500. That is an increase of 100%. That is flat out doubling it. From the clerk, we're going up the same percentage, which was what, 70%?
Correct.
Okay. So clerk is going from 800 to 1360. Treasurer is going from 2600 to 4420. Minutes taker from 35 an hour to 60 an hour. All right.
What are you gonna do about the budget committee?
0.
I think there should be a stipend.
There should be
That's
some
a good
study.
question.
I mean, it's up to, if we're suggesting it
having
for
trouble.
everyone else.
They're having trouble with quorum at some points, and they're
Yeah.
having some troubles with getting people to
Yeah.
attend in the past.
That's all depends if they give us
It should
what
be,
we want.
it should be suggested.
It should be suggested that maybe a stipend of what?
250.
Should we ask the budget committee for
Well,
their
we can-
input, or?
No, I think
I
we
think
should
we
just
just
tell them what we
suggest
think
it.
and let them
Okay.
say yes or no.
Yeah.
Does $300, $400, $500 sound fair? I don't know.
I'd say 250 for the members and 400 for the chair.
That's good. 250 for members, 400 for chair.
I mean, and thinking about,
Because
they
he's,
don't have subcommittee work the way
Right.
that we have it, but, you know, for the board, we said, you know, we were using $100 a month. They have a shorter time frame, and not quite as much, but even if, I'd like, I think it should be at least 300,
Okay.
using that same kind of math, because there's 3 solid months of work.
when you pay the
Yes.
chair.
How about 300, 500?
300, 500 sounds great, because
Okay.
the chair is the one that's doing the presentation and really
Yeah.
leading the meeting
Yeah.
at the budget, at the deliberative session and budget hearings.
And this is just our suggestion to them. They can
Yeah.
say, they can look out and go, yeah, no way. So that's fine. But cool.
And I also, I know that we still have, we did already vote, but we've tried to be consistent with the increases. We were not consistent with the board chair one. And that's something that I am afraid that it didn't process before we.
I don't think we were
voted on
talking
that.
percentages at that point. We
Yeah,
were
that's
actually just
true.
throwing out numbers at that
That's
point.
true.
Because we were
So-
just talking about, but that's fine. I wasn't.
Can we or should we revisit that so it's consistent?
Yeah.
It seems odd to me that the board chair would be the only position not in line with what we've talked about.
All right, then someone can make a motion to reconsider.
I'll make a motion to reconsider the previous motion of 700 and 100,
The
1,000.
board stipend positions. Okay, and we have a second on the reconsideration.
I'll second.
All right, Don second. All those in favor of reconsidering our vote on the school board stipends, the previous one we just did, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions?
I abstain.
Okay. All right, so now we,
How do you? I don't know.
this is a Robert's Rule of Order thing that you can do. You can do reconsider motions on things. So we have reopened
You should.
that thing. If someone would like to, would you like to amend your motion? Or would you like to do anything else to the motion?
I don't even know what the total you're talking about now for the chair, so
$1,700.
17, okay.
yeah, I'll make
Oh.
I'll amend the motion.
Okay. And who made the second on that
I
originally?
believe I
I
got it.
believe Kathleen did. So Kathleen, do you agree on that?
Yes. I do.
Okay, great. Any further discussion on that one? All right, all those in favor of the second round so that goes to 1,200 for board members and 17 for the chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstentions. All right, thank you, Danielle. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now I have this jotted down here for our positions, stipended positions. Do you have it written down? Andy,
Yeah,
make a
I do.
motion?
Make a motion that we approve our suggested district stipend increases for moderator, moving from 250 to 500, clerk from 800 to 1360, treasurer from 2600 to 4420, and the minutes taker from $35 an hour to $60 an hour, in line with our increase for the board members.
More about the budget.
Did you want to include?
Oh, and budget, yep, sorry. Yep, and adding and suggesting a stipend for budget committee of $300 for members and $500 for the chair.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Brewster seconds. Any further discussion on these numbers? Thank you for putting up with all this math. More math, sorry. All right, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstentions. All right.
All right, make a motion that no more reconsideration. How's that?
Okay,
I'm usually good at that. Look.
snuck through there. All right, so next thing we have on our agenda is, I have the Delegate Assembly on there but I don't have the delegate assembly. Is it in the packet somewhere?
I didn't
Did not
see
see it in
it.
the
I
packet.
didn't see it in the packet.
No.
So I am registered as our official representative, so I'll be there on the 19th. And I think we all received
Yes.
or had access to the NHSBA packet, so you can see the information there. I would just ask, because I know that we have a number of other business items, I just ask you that if there is something that you saw in those materials that you felt very passionately about, to let me know so that I could have that in my notes for when we are, when we're making decisions about that.
The only one I think that I wanted to mention is the one that we put in ourselves, that they came back with a do not recommend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I was like, hey, that's not nice. I'm trying to get to it. Where is it? Oh, here we go. So our proposed resolution is that NHSBA will support legislation that requires the state of New Hampshire to fund the cost of the Youth Risk Behavior Survey for all middle school students in the state. Currently, the state covers the cost for districts to survey students from the, at the high school level. We talked about why it's important, yada yada. New Hampshire only funds the high school survey. Districts can do it on their own if they want to pay for it, but you get inconclusive data. You get very patchwork data across the state. Maine and Vermont both fund it, and so we asked that, and then the board of directors came by and said, no, we think that local districts should do it on their own volition unless it be a mandate from the state and another task levied upon our school district staff. So I personally disagree with their rationale, and so I think you should go argue against that, because I think that's a pretty flimsy reason.
Yeah, I will do that. If there is others that, when you're flipping through, if there are others that you feel similarly about, just shoot me a note.
Yep.
And let me know, and I'll make sure to add it to my materials.
Okay.
Hey, Tim,
Yes.
can, if she's got something else to do, the student rep, can she be excused?
We're gonna see if she can stay a little longer as she can, so throughout the night. I mean, obviously if we're here till like 8:30, then we'll let her go. But, I think we wanted to have a school board rep that was more engaged with like policy work and stuff like that. And so
you did?
she's nodding her head over there, so.
Oh, okay,
I appreciate you looking out for her, I do.
You know?
Back in the olden days, when I was
That's
when I
right.
was a youngin',
That's right.
I remember sitting through all things, and that's why I love policy now.
You're dreaming too.
I'm not dreaming.
Yes, you are.
And we didn't even have paper ones. We had like the metal nameplates.
Wow.
Okay,
Oh,
well, I'm
aren't
just
you
looking out
thinking
for the
about
student
the
rep,
name
okay? I'm just looking out for the student rep.
Anyway, next thing on our agenda is October 1st enrollments. So as you have those in your packet, and as Mr. Kiley brought up, I'm sure there were some questions about, I had some similar questions as to, did a classroom just disappear or what?
Aliens.
Yeah, aliens or what happened here?
So sometimes without me getting into too much detail,
Yeah.
usually we do see a drop in grade 9. Last year, when I'm looking, last year our grade 9 students, the first day of enrollment and October 1st were exactly the same. So I'm not really sure why the huge drop this year from 80 to 70. Usually through attrition, we do lose some kids just from move-ins, move-outs, so we do lose some. But this year it looks like we have lost 30 kids. Last year it was about 20 between, what we had on the books, right? So our first day enrollment are strictly students that we have on the books, not in physical attendance. And by the time we get to October 1st, it's physical attendance. But I do not have a solid reason, Dan, but I can find out why we dropped from 80 to 70. That is a pretty significant
Yeah.
drop.
Suspension.
But, yeah. So, that's your numbers.
I thought maybe it was a Monday or a Friday, but it was a Tuesday. So
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
like families would wait for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids didn't show up on Monday.
Yeah,
It's a pretty significant drop in that one class.
yeah.
CES also had a bit of a drop.
EVS also had a little bit of a drop.
The CES.
Oh, Canaan, CES.
Yeah.
Yeah, seven
Seven
kids.
kids, yeah.
Yeah, spread out across the grades, it looks like.
I always like our first day enrollment numbers better than our October 1st numbers.
I always do too.
They're always more solid.
Yeah, like we lost 3 kindergartners at CES, but also 3 second graders. But some kindergartners just might not be ready. So, all right. Anything else on those? All right, next in your packet is for your information, this is the SB2 calendar. This is the deadlines for posting notices of budget hearings, the deadlines for citizens petition articles. This is when our filing candidates, so if you are up for election next year, you can file on January 22nd. And you have to file by January 31st. So that's informational. Was there anything, we didn't have to do anything on that?
No, that's just
Okay.
informational.
Sometimes. Okay, next thing on our agenda is we have some second readings of policies. So I'll entertain a motion for the second readings.
Make a motion that we approve for second reading, policy CA, administration goals, policy CM, school district annual report, policy ACN, accommodation of lactation needs, policy GBAM, accommodation of pregnancy and related medical conditions personnel, policy IHBCA, accommodation of pregnancy and related medical conditions students, policy JLDBB, suicide prevention and response plan. That's all for second.
Okay,
Motion second.
all right. Kathleen's good, second on that. All right, any comments on those? You can get the next one, how about that?
I think I can do the next one.
All right, policy, any comments on any of the other ones for second reading? Going once, going twice. All right, all those in favor of approval for second reading and approval and adoption for policy CA, policy CM, policy ACN, policy GBAM, policy IHBCA, and policy JLDBB, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, abstentions. All right, now we have some rescissions.
Yep, so make a motion that we rescind policy CE, administrative councils, cabinets, and committees, as well as policy CMF, school district annual report.
Right.
Second.
And
Move on to that.
we'll get to that one. That is for the next
I
time.
think we have to do we haven't.
Do the first reading.
Oh, it's first.
That doesn't have a match, actually.
No, it doesn't.
You're right.
Yeah, that's actually a duplicate old policy.
Oh.
Thank you, Don, for finding it lost
Oh.
mostly on the back page.
Okay.
But that is a duplicate policy, and I would ask, we didn't rescind it when we adopted.
Oh,
it.
so it's a hanging.
So it's just hanging, and I
Oh, okay,
found
yeah,
it,
then all right, yeah.
so
I'll
if you
amend the
don't mind
motion to
having it.
include policy EEACB, long-term bus suspension.
All right,
know the alphabet.
good.
Thank you, Don.
With that,
You know
Kathleen,
the alphabet.
adding that one there? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor of rescinding policy CE, policy CMF, and policy EEACB, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, abstentions. All right, some first readings here.
All right, so, make a motion that we approve for first reading, policy BGAA, policy development, adoption, and review, policy JI, student rights and responsibilities, policy JKAA, use of restraints and seclusion, and policy DFAB, equivalence in instructional staff and materials.
All right. Just to explain a little the process too for Lily, so when we get policies, we have a first reading, which is like the first time it comes to the full board, and that's when we can kind of like make edits or changes or give a lot of feedback, and then we're all allowed to kind of sit on it until our next meeting, and then we can bring it back up, and then if any changes have happened, or if someone's like, hey, I've been thinking about that for 2 weeks, I want to make a change, then we can come back and change it at that time. But it's kind of like a stopgap between the two. Sometimes on occasion we do have to fast forward and go right to adoption, but that's fairly rare, and that's usually like federal stuff. All right. First reading, BGAA, policy development, adoption, and review. Any comments on this one? Or Amanda, did you have anything you wanted to bring up on any of these? Please just go ahead and jump in.
Sure, so the changes here from the policy, you'll see that we just adopted this in '23.
Yes.
You'll see that section F, which is starts on page 2, continues on page 3. That is a new section, and we adopted that from the New Hampshire School Board Association. As with all of the other times in this policy, where it had previously said committee, we changed it to work group, so I just reflected that in section F. Then we added the suggested last sentence in section G2, so G2, the last sentence.
Probably the and by other such appropriate means determined by the superintendent, that part?
Yes, that is the
Yes.
part, thank you, Danielle.
That looks like something you'd say.
Yeah.
It is, it rolls right off my tongue. Yeah, in such instances, the meeting minutes should reflect the nature of the circumstances, warning, suspension, oh, that's section G. Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right, any questions on that one? Okay, next one we have student rights and responsibilities, JI.
JI, so the only change, I'm sorry, that's WG, GA. JI, the only change to this is the category notation. It is
Okay.
now required by law. Previously, it was recommended. So that is the only update to that policy.
Okay, next one's JKAA, use of restraints and seclusion. This probably had some legal changes.
Yep, I have to find my notes that I wrote on page 8. And
Does the student rep get a copy of the packet? Do you get a copy
yeah,
of the
it
whole
gets
packet?
emailed to me.
So you get all these policies in advance? Wow.
She's the one I've seen come up with a
I love
computer,
it.
okay?
I love it. Yeah, I know.
Just leave her,
I'm
leave
down
her
with that.
alone. Yeah, she's doing well with that computer. Someone's gonna be the assistant to the superintendent pretty quick.
Don't restrain her.
So what we did add was a paragraph with the definition of child, and then we also added, the School Board Association requested that we add that the New Hampshire Department of Ed report form was made available in late January of 2024. So that is on page 8. That little notation was added into this policy.
Okay. All right, and then the next one we got here, use of, equivalents in instructional staff and materials. DFAB.
Yeah, so this policy is one that,
New.
because we are Title I, yep, this is new. So when we had the audit of our programmatic monitoring audit, we did not have this policy, nor did most districts in the state. So the School Board Association wrote this, it's a federal requirement. So we are making sure that we add it in just as the School Board Association wrote it.
Wonderful. Glad we could fix that for everybody in the state. Any questions on any of those for first reading? As always, you can sit on it for the next 2 weeks, bring it back next time if you've been up late at night thinking about this stuff.
Oh,
I know, right?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Kathleen, go ahead.
So,
Which one do you want?
I'm on the policy DAFB,
Okay.
and the last page, E, under exclusion of funds, where it says, for the purpose of complying with the requirements of comparable services, district may exclude receipt of supplemental state or local funds expended in any school for programs that meet the intent and purpose of, and then it gives the USC code. This is just, it's not going to affect like when we apply for special programs and they get a grant for money to buy new books for one elementary school but not the other.
Correct, that will be
Because that's not a state or a federal funding,
correct.
right? That's the
Correct,
only
yeah,
thing.
exactly. So they're talking about Title I funds, Title II funds, Title IV funds, you know, those funds, the major Title I.
Okay.
The major title funding.
All right. All those, okay. Are any other questions on those for first reading? All right. All those in favor of BGAA, JI, JKAA, and DFAB for first reading signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right. Let's see, agenda items for next meeting. We'll have committee reports, delegate assembly update, professional development newsletter, other stuff as we all think of it. Bring it up to me or Amanda. Public comment. Anything else?
Just one of them, I was looking at the calendar, and I don't know whether it's a misstatement or an odd thing, where it says the budget is, it looks like the deadline for the budget is set as if we were not SB2. It looks like it says the deadline is January 27th, when your deliberative session is February 1st.
Post warrant and budget for session 1 and 2, deliberative and election warrants. Yeah, that may have been,
That, because that would be, it does not look like if you're an SB2, you would obviously, you'd have to have the book out more than 4 days before the deliberative session.
yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that's just accidentally in there, because our
Yeah,
deadline,
I think so, because that would be a non-SB2, because they have to have their budget by the end of January.
yeah, the deadline for the budget committee to deliver the final budget to the school board is on Thursday, July 23rd,
Yeah,
and that's it, that's the deadline.
you've
No.
already gotta have that to the printer prior to that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Dan, what are you saying? The lawyers did it wrong?
Well, yeah, I'm saying that you've got a deadline there that's not an SB2 deadline.
Yeah, that could be. We'll check on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does look really tight.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you for catching that.
because normally it goes to the printer the day after the public hearing.
Right,
For the
which would
budget.
be the 21st.
Yeah, the public hearing is earlier than that, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's the deadline, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we usually go like a week before that, like
Right.
the Wednesday before,
yeah,
like the 15th, so.
yeah.
All right, thank you for catching that, because I did not. So I guess we'll have an updated one next time.
Well, I
Or
mean, we don't have
confirmation.
to follow that. I mean, we'll talk to the lawyers, but we certainly won't follow that. Like, we physically can't.
Right.
That's right. We have to
Yeah.
have it out to the printer immediately.
Yeah. I'm sure we always get it, so. Any other public comment? Okay. Personnel resignations, nominations, so you have a green sheet, we just have one resignation as presented there. We have non-public, yes, Amanda?
Correct, for the purpose of hiring.
Purpose of hiring, all right, so we're going into non-public, I'll take a motion for that.
Make a motion to go non-public.
Huh? Oh, you want to do this first?
It's on the agenda.
Oh, it is on the agenda first, all right.
Yeah, you're not allowed to stay.
We'll just do this one first, we'll accept this first.
Make a motion to accept the nomination,
Or resignation.
resignation as presented.
Second,
All right, all those in favor of accepting the resignation, signify by saying aye. Aye, all opposed, abstentions. All right, Bruce, we have a motion to go to non-public?
I did.
All right, who seconds?
Second.
All right, either one of you ever can put us down. All right, Brewster,
Yes.
Danielle,
My
Tim,
name is
yes,
too much to
Kathleen,
yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Dawn.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Lily, thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.